Have you noticed something strange? You open a book to study. 5 minutes later, your mind feels tired. But when you start scrolling on your phone, 2 hours disappear, and you don't even notice. This is not just lack of discipline. Something inside your brain is being trained. Inside your brain, there is a powerful reward system. Scientists call it the dopamine system. Dopamine is a chemical messenger. Your brain releases it when something feels rewarding, when you achieve something, when you anticipate success, or when something exciting happens. It tells your brain, "This feels good. Do it again." Normally, dopamine appears after effort. When you finish a workout, when you solve a difficult problem, when you complete something meaningful, your brain rewards the effort. That feeling of satisfaction, that is dopamine. It is the brain saying, "Good job. That was worth it." But scrolling works differently. Every swipe shows something new. A joke, a surprise, a shocking clip, a cute video. Every swipe sends a tiny dopamine signal. Your brain quickly learns something dangerous. Reward without effort. And this is where the trap begins. Your brain starts expecting the next reward. Maybe the next video is funnier. Maybe the next video is more exciting. So your brain keeps pulling the lever. Just one more swipe. Just one more video. And before you realize it, you are inside a reward loop. Your brain is extremely sensitive to something called novelty. Novelty simply means something new, something unexpected. Every time you swipe, your brain sees a new surprise. And every surprise can trigger dopamine. So the brain becomes curious. What will appear next? Now compare two experiences. Studying a chapter takes effort. The reward comes later. But scrolling works differently. Every swipe gives a tiny reward instantly. Your brain quickly notices this difference. One activity is slow. The other gives reward every second. And the brain always prefers the faster reward. Psychologists compare this system to a slot machine. Every pull of the lever may give a reward, or maybe nothing. But the next attempt might be exciting. This unpredictable reward pattern is extremely powerful. Because the brain keeps hoping, the next swipe will be better. Social media platforms understand this psychology very well. So they mix different types of content. A funny video, then something shocking, then something emotional, then something informative. Your brain never knows what is coming next. And that unpredictability keeps you scrolling. Over time, something else begins to change. Your brain starts expecting constant stimulation. So when you open a book, there are no surprises, no fast rewards, just slow information. And the brain begins to feel restless. It starts searching for something more exciting. To understand the damage, we first need to understand attention. Attention span means something simple. The ability to stay with one thing, without your mind running away. When you focus on your breathing and ignore everything else, that is attention control. The same ability is required for deep learning. There are two types of attention. The first is sustained attention. This is the ability to stay focused on one task. Reading a book, solving a problem, learning something deeply. The second is transient attention, where your focus jumps from one thing to another. Scrolling trains the second one. Now imagine what happens during scrolling. Your brain receives a new stimulus every few seconds. So it becomes used to constant change. Later when you open a book, nothing changes for several minutes. No surprise, no excitement. Your brain starts feeling uncomfortable, and it begins searching for stimulation again. Another problem begins to appear. Your brain starts experiencing cognitive overload. Too many fast signals, too many quick emotions, too many pieces of information. Even though scrolling feels effortless, your brain is constantly processing new stimuli, and this slowly exhausts your mental system. But the biggest damage happens to memory. Deep learning requires time. Your brain must process information slowly. That allows knowledge to move into long-term memory. But fast scrolling does something different. Information enters your mind and disappears just as quickly. You feel like you learned something, but your brain never stored it. Think about the last time you watched many short videos. Maybe 30, maybe 40. Now ask yourself a simple question. How many of those videos do you clearly remember? Most people remember almost none, because the brain never processed them deeply. They passed through your mind. but never entered long-term memory. Your brain stores knowledge in stages. First comes sensory memory, then short-term memory, and finally long-term memory. But information only reaches long-term memory when your brain processes it deeply, when you think about it, when you focus on it. Fast scrolling rarely allows that process to happen. Psychology explains another powerful effect. It is called conditioning. In a famous experiment, a dog learned to expect food when it heard a bell. Eventually, the bell alone caused a reaction. The brain had learned the pattern. Something very similar happens with smartphones. Your brain starts linking notifications and scrolling with reward. After repeated scrolling, the brain builds a habit loop. Bored for a moment, check the phone. Small dopamine reward. The brain learns the pattern. Soon something strange happens. You reach for the phone before you even decide to do it. And this leads to the most powerful change. Your brain starts rewiring itself. In neuroscience, this is called neuroplasticity. The brain becomes better at what it practices often. If it practices constant stimulation, it becomes better at seeking stimulation. Slow activities like reading or studying start feeling harder and harder. Researchers discovered something surprising. The same brain circuits activated by addictive substances are also activated during excessive social media use. The dopamine reward pathway becomes highly stimulated. Your brain begins treating scrolling like a powerful reward behavior. That is why stopping can feel surprisingly difficult. Some studies suggest another concern. Constant digital stimulation may disturb attention regulation. The brain becomes used to rapid switching. Slow tasks become frustrating. Focus becomes fragile, and the mind constantly searches for the next stimulus. Over time, these changes create real-life problems. Learning becomes shallow. Important tasks get delayed. Memory becomes weaker. Anxiety increases. And many people begin experiencing FOMO, the fear of missing out. The phone starts controlling attention, instead of the other way around. But there is an important realization. This is not about intelligence, and it is not about discipline alone. Your brain has simply been trained by constant stimulation. The good news is, the brain that learned this habit can also unlearn it. So here is the key idea. Scrolling trains your brain for instant rewards, but learning requires patience and deep focus. The more you practice one, the stronger that pathway becomes. In the next video, we will explore how to retrain your brain and rebuild your focus again. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it.